Oh, you just have all right. We are live. I know you was asking me a question right before we went live.
Oh, I'll ask you in the end.
Okay. What's up, y'all? Tasha checking in with another video, and this is going to be none other than a review. This is something new that I'm doing because I normally haven't reviewed Bel-Air, but I've always watched it. So it's something new I'm doing. So I'm going to be reviewing Bel-Air with my co-host and slash lead host, Miss Kiwan. What's up, ma'am? Is there a way you can put your channel at the bottom of the screen, like link it? Now that I do
Um,
not know because
yes.
StreamYard, I'm kind of used to it, but
Oh, no
let me see if
problem.
it work. Okay, no,
Let
that's
me go
not
to
it.
my channel and get the link. I think I'm
That
doing it right, so y'all just.
I don't even know
Oh,
what the heck I just did. Okay, there we go. um, I think what I could do is attach it to the banner of this. So what I'll do is, but it's supposed to be a way that you could put it like where your block is. Let me
mm-hmm.
see. Let me see. Hmm, that is interesting. It's supposed to be a way I could do it. Give me a second, y'all. 1 second. But if it's your first time joining us, we're about to review Bel Air season 4, episodes 1 through 3. You can go ahead and like this video up and subscribe to the channel. Both of our channels. I'm going to just put it in the banner. So let's see this. We'll do oh wait, there it goes. When I took the
Okay.
banner off, do you see your name on there on the screen?
Yes, I see it now.
Okay, there it goes. So I guess you can't have a banner. Or maybe you can. Let me see.
I
Let's see
don't
what
think
happens.
I can
Okay,
create
yeah, you
a
can.
banner.
Okay, so you can't have a banner. So that is both of our channels right there in our bubbles. And you can follow us both on our channels. We both review shows. If you want to introduce yourself real quick, Kiwan, you can go ahead and do that.
Hi, I am Q1. I am all scripted, all what is it? All scripted, all reality TV. And that's it. That's it. That's it.
Right. And I do a plethora of things. Like I do show reviews, product reviews, cooking reviews. If I go places, like my channel is a lifestyle channel, so I do a little bit of everything that you'll get over there. All right, y'all, let's jump into this review of Bel Air. I'm gonna just say this. I have always been a fan of Fresh Prince of Bel Air back in the day. Like that was my show. And when
Mhm.
they said they were coming out with a Bel Air like series, I was like, "Ooh, I'm locked in already." And then it's almost like they took it up 2.0 because
Ooh,
the characters,
especially
all of
Carlton.
them, all of them are fine.
Oh,
Okay,
girl.
when
Ooh.
they they showed Jeffrey, I was like, "Oh, child, now come on now." And then Uncle Phil, I was like, "So who is casting?" Because they are a woman after my
Period.
own heart or a man after my own.
Even Aunt Viv. I was like,
Oh yes, oh
oh my god,
yeah.
like the whole cast. I think Carlton is really beautiful. I think
Hmm.
Carlton character is in season one was like, okay, Carlton, I'm ready to yoke you up. Okay, I'm ready. Okay.
Right. And they nailed it with every one of their personalities. If you think
Hmm.
about Prince of Bel Air, it
Hmm.
kind of coincides and it links with all of their personalities. So they did a good job embodying those characters from the show
They did.
into the actual real show. Okay. So, episode 1 of season 4, Chow. Aunt Viv is pregnant. I love the way that they brought that in from the actual real Fresh Prince. Aunt Viv is pregnant, and she is what we call a geriatric pregnancy because they
Mhm.
feel any woman after 35, that's a geriatric pregnancy. But what's crazy is that I resonated with her in this moment because me and my husband are kind of personal moment, everybody. We are trying to work on having a child, and I am very much I already have a daughter that's 21.
Mhm.
So I resonated with Aunt Viv. I was just like, okay, I understand what you mean. But that geriatric pregnancy, that's where she is at in this moment. Would you, Kiwan, do a pregnancy later in life?
Absolutely not. If you know me, you know kids or no. My son is 23, my daughter is 19. I will be 43 in 2 days. So absolutely not.
Listen,
I
happy
mean,
birthday in advance.
thank you. For because just personally speaking, I've always taken care of them, and it's always been myself and Brandon and Aaron. Um,
Mhm.
and it's like for me, it's a little PTSD. So
Yeah, yeah,
mm-mm,
yeah, yeah. And it's personal reasons why we want to go into this chapter again. But
that's
I
good.
never thought because I'm 43 as well, and I never thought that at 43 that would even be a conversation.
Yeah.
I was just like, what now? What? But I understood Aunt Viv, and then we get to Hillary. She's reflecting on the passing of her husband, which was so messed up. It's almost
I
like
know.
it gave me a new perspective for my own marriage as well, right? Because imagine waiting for a period of time for your love. You finally get married and everything, and then he ends up passing so tragic. And I think it wasn't in a plane crash.
No, he had heart issues. And so they
Okay.
knew he had heart issues, his mom
Mhm.
and dad, while he was still playing ball. But,
Uh,
he had heart issues, and I think he died in his sleep. So I want to say it could have been like cardiac arrest or something like
mm,
that. But yeah,
mm,
he had heart issues. And if y'all don't
okay.
know,
Mhm,
that's Trevor. Trevor
mhm.
from the original Hillary baby,
Yes.
because his name is Lamarcus Trevor.
Right. And that's why I say I love the way that they do certain things from the
Yes.
show. Like it's very strategic and well done, right?
Mhm.
And so I just was like, dang, Hillary, I feel so bad for her. And even on the show, even though it was like a comedic moment, it was like, dang, you felt so bad for her because she had been dating all these, dudes, and
Mhm.
finally she gets Trevor, and it was just like then
That's
that
too much.
happens, right?
Mhm.
And so Will and Carlton is in their last year of high school, right? And Carlton, what cracked me up when Carlton was getting ready for school and he sprayed the cologne in the air and did some type of ballet jump. I said, now, I ain't never seen. I said, from now on, I'm putting my perfume on like that.
Like, let's.
I said,
I
what?
think I'm gonna start doing that.
I said, Carlton, what in the world is that?
Carlton said he wanted to smell good from the top to the bottom. Okay,
So he had to do what they call it in ballet, a pirouette or
a
whatever it's
pirouette.
called. Right.
Oh, Carlton.
Right. So then we was Lisa and Carlton, they know something is up with Will because Will is having PTSD because of what
Mhm.
happened with Jeffrey. Now, if y'all don't know, Jeffrey got hemmed up by the gang that he's a part of, and they kidnapped Will because they was trying to find out where Jeffrey was at. So
Mhm.
Jeffrey went to go save Will, and he told Will to run. We heard a pow pow. We didn't know what. Look, I thought they had pow pow Jeffrey. I was like, no, not Jeffrey, right? And Will is, ran and kept running, but he's having that PTSD flashback from that whole situation. Okay. And I was just, and then we didn't see Jeffrey for a little bit. And I was like, yo, where is Jeffrey? They need to stop playing with us. Like for
Mhm.
real.
Mhm.
Um, What else happened? I love how, and I said this before, and I wrote this in my notes. I just love how they bring moments from the actual show into this, and then they also add a twist of dramatic into it as well. The whole pregnancy with Viv, Hillary
Mhm,
losing her husband, and
mhm.
all of that. Will and Carlton go and meet their counselor, right? Because they in their last year of high school, and this counselor was no nonsense. She was like, "What y'all about to do? When we meet next week, y'all need to have this." And I appreciated that because my high school counselor was trash. This dude was pretty much trying to push up on all of the seniors. Okay. Now that I think about it at this
Oh,
point, I'm like, he should have been arrested the
he
way that
was
he
a
was.
PDF?
Yes. He was not very much into helping us plan our future and everything. And I was always the one that would call him out and be like, are we supposed to be looking at colleges and stuff like that? Like he was the worst. So I appreciated their counselor.
Shout out to the counselors. I didn't even know if we had a counselor in school.
Right. So
They-
then we have a segment, a scene where Viv is meeting with the doctor to discuss her pregnancy, and she's still in shock. And I could imagine because I guess in this moment she has to be what in her 40s. And I guess she has to be in shock as well. And she's like really not trying to tell Philip about the baby. So what you think, Kiwan? Would you? I would have told him right away, like, listen, we got a baby coming on
right.
and all of
I,
this.
I know I would have told them. I think when we look at it from their standpoint, like y'all have money, but it's not the money aspect. It's just we have to start all over. Ashley is in high school and now we have to start all over because he did mention that in the bed, how old he
Mhm.
was when Nikki graduates from high school. But I would have said something. That
Yeah.
finest Philip is child.
Listen. And it's crazy because I understood them. Like all of this for me was like very much having me do the pros and cons as well. Like while I'm watching them, because I'm just like, dang, you do have to, start over. You're young enough in your early 40s where you could still kind of like, okay, I've done the raising of the children. Now it's mama time. Like, what was that? Baby boy, your mama
Yeah,
gotta live
mama gotta
too.
have a life.
Mama gotta have a life too. So now you at a time where your children don't need you as much. You can travel,
Mhm,
kind of, do the things and
mhm.
to start all the way back over because when you
Right.
had that baby, it's very much selfish time, baby
Mm,
time. Your life get put on the back burner. And so to know that you would not get that time again
yeah.
until you like in your 60s. And hopefully you age great in your 60s. But Philip seemed like he take care of himself
Mhm.
so you
His
know
60 gonna look like 40.
yeah, really. But then you look at the side of the woman. We're the ones that body goes through this metamorphosis thing.
Yeah.
And when you're over 40, that weight gain and loss,
Mhm,
and then the back
mhm,
problems, child. And this
mhm.
is a sidebar. Like I'm going to a chiropractor right now, and I found out from the chiropractor, she said my back had been messed up for 20 some years. And I was like, what the heck
Oh,
you
wow.
mean? What have I been doing? She said more than likely your back got messed up when you delivered your daughter. And I said, you gotta be so if you
God.
think about it, yeah, you don't think about things like that. When
Yeah.
you're older, you got to really take it easy when you get pregnant because that whole push and the whole everything, you're back. And I didn't have an epidural. So
Mm.
imagine if I went the epidural route, what
It would
that back
really.
would happen. So I can understand like their fears
Yeah.
about it. 'Cause,
Now,
woo.
I will say this.
Mhm,
There's a bit of emotional intelligence that we have now that we did
mhm,
not have before because, of course, you and we're the same age, so we grew up
mhm.
in the same generation. So it was
Yeah.
like we adapted whatever our parents gave us or what our grandparents and aunties gave us.
Mhm,
So there was
mhm.
some emotional intelligence, not
Right.
too much.
Right.
But I feel like we were the generation that was strong and we got up and we did what we needed to do. We took
Yeah.
care of the kid. We did everything we needed to do.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
But
definitely. But woo, it's I'm looking at it like, hey man, they making me think. I said we still going full steam ahead because we have each other.
Yeah.
Unlike when I former had my daughter, he, cut and run like
Mhm.
some of them do. But
Yeah.
this time it'd be totally different. So I was like, okay,
That's
Tasha, reel
good.
it back in.
Mhm. Mhm. I get
But
it.
Ashley had me messed up because Ashley takes the pregnancy test to school and
Why
shows her friend. Was you messed up behind it, or was you trying? I was like, what?
I was messed up behind this. I was messed up behind her whole attitude, but we'll get there. But I was like, okay, I don't think that that's yours. So I initially thought, I forgot really quick that that was her mom's. I was like, is that Hillary's? Then I remember, okay,
Yeah,
no, that's her mom's. But what's the
yeah,
point? You could have just said, you know, I saw a pregnancy test. My mom was pregnant. I mean, I think my mom is pregnant, but she haven't
right.
told us yet. But for you to bring it to school that your mom peed on a stick, excuse my language, peed on a stick, and you hand
Right.
it to him, I'm like,
If I
yeah,
was a friend, I would have been like, I don't want to touch it.
I want right. Why are you touching it?
Why do you have it? So
Right.
she's basically like the only one in the family at this point that knows that the mom is
Mhm,
pregnant. She said she found it in her
mhm,
mom's bathroom. First of all, well, how I grew up is you don't even go in your parents' bedroom. You don't touch certain stuff in their room, whatever. So how the heck do you even know that exists? Because I'm pretty sure they had a
mhm,
bathroom that she did it in the bathroom, maybe in their bedroom. And I'm like, why would she be digging through trash and all that? Actually, personality is just really weird
mhm,
in this series because her character, in my opinion, is the only one that's so different from the show.
mhm.
The way I think, but I'm just like, what was that about? Then we see Will and Carlton pressing out this dude that she's dating. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did this dude say that he was gay? Now, I was
Mhm.
watching it with my daughter, and she was like, I was like, no, I think he
Yeah,
said that.
he said
I
it.
think because Angie said she was kind of feeling women
'Cause
at certain
yeah,
point.
she likes girls and
Mm-hmm.
he likes boys, but then
Okay.
at some point, because she was going with Olivia, but then after that,
Mhm.
at some point, they started to like each other. Now,
Right.
correct me if I'm wrong. I thought Ashley said she found, and that could have been. I really could not. I thought she said she found those pregnancy tests in her mom's bathroom drawer or in her bathroom cabinet. I was
I
like, well,
feel
what
like
was
she
her
said
mom?
mom, but I'm not sure. If replay watchers, y'all correct us. I'm not sure, but I think she said because she has said they're her moms. So
Mhm.
I'm thinking she found them somewhere where her mom was
Yeah.
at. But I don't know. But Carlton and Will pressing the dude out is so funny
That's
because I was just like, child, if the person they chose for Will is great, but he doesn't have the muscular and height that
right.
original Will Smith has. Right? So I would have been looking at him like, sir, you can't squash a grape. Ain't nobody scared of you.
But it's funny because how are y'all gonna press him? Which I understand, but how are y'all gonna press him and y'all create the most boneheaded moves I have ever seen since season one? Like, what are we doing?
Right.
But
What are
okay.
we doing? But I guess they wanted to do that or something to say,
Mhm,
she dating now, so we about to be that big brother, big cousin kind
mhm,
of mindset, right? I'm gonna say this. I love me some Jazz. Jazz is who they picked for Jazz.
mhm,
Y'all let me know. What's up, Cleveland Grant? Welcome to the live. Y'all let me know. Oh my
mhm,
God, Jazz. It just when he put the shades on and he got this button
mhm.
up shirt and it's listen, I don't know what it is. I know he probably short, but I don't care. Like I love Jazz as a character on this show. And I
Chocolate.
wanted to so bad to be with Hillary. I was like, maybe he gonna intervene in the wedding and then him and Hillary gonna, but I don't know. But we see Jazz. Jazz is talking to Will about reaching out to Hillary, saying he
Mhm,
wanted to, but it was just rough. He didn't want to really reach out to her and everything. So they go and they try to get video footage from the flower shop
mhm.
of what happened when Will was kidnapped. Okay. They started talking to this flower shop owner, and I thought it was really funny because they're like, "Oh yeah, we're business owners." He says, "I'm trying to open up a pet shop. I got a dog named Ludacris." I was like, "What is going on?" to get the business owner to give them the footage, right? And white people and their dogs, no shades, nobody white is coming over. Y'all
Right.
have a certain affinity for y'all dogs, right? And so they
Mhm.
finally get her to give up the video footage. And so they go ahead and try to review it and see what's going on. What you think about those parts?
I thought that as far as like the whole dogs, them going off campus to get the information on the car, I think if he would have been honest, I don't think she would have gave him that information. I'm
Yeah,
glad that, wait, let me let her know I have a dog. I lost my dog. Maybe she'll have
right.
more empathy, more sympathy, which is in reality, that is really sad.
Yeah,
Because if
yeah,
I tell you somebody harmed me and I want to I would like to see your tapes from the night of somebody kidnapped me and you deny me of that, which you have that right. But then I could tell you somebody stole my dog and you'll be, give a little pushback, but you'll be willing to give me the footage, which says a lot. Who's
right. About how they feel about them dogs.
and us.
It's just so ridiculous. Listen, it's just a fact. We love our dogs too, but
I do.
our
Mhm.
Caucasian brothers and sisters, boy, they go up for them dogs. Okay, like they are real people. Okay, so we get to Viv, right? She is meeting up with one of her friends, and her friend is telling her, "Hey, I got an opportunity for you to start painting again because we know on the show, instead of Viv like on the regular Fresh Prince being a professor, she's actually a painter." Or an artist on this one. And so her friend is saying, "Hey, I got an opportunity for you to paint this portrait, all this stuff like that. You can do it, pick up the paintbrush, get back into it." And Viv blurts out to her, "Well, I can't because I'm pregnant." And she's like, "What?" She's like, "Okay, wow." So Philip is asking about Will in the next scene being outside of Jeffrey's apartment. He's saying, I've been tracking y'all phones and I know where you was at. Why'd you leave off campus? Things like that. Will gets a little snappy with him and says, well, why aren't you doing more to find Jeffrey and things of that nature? And Vivian is still not telling Philip about this baby.
Mhm.
So what do you think about all of those parts?
I thought that Vivian was at first. I was like, well, maybe she didn't want to tell him because maybe she was contemplating, sending the baby to baby heaven. I don't know. Because,
Yeah.
at
Ooh.
the end of the day, as you stated earlier, it is my body, my choice. But
Yes,
I
yes,
still need to share it with my husband.
right, right.
Joan submitting her name to her sorority sister, who she probably
Mhm.
don't like that. I don't think she should have done it. But when Vivian did tell Philip, I was like, well, maybe he think her painting for Joan is some sort will be an opportunity for him. That's what I was
Mhm. Yeah.
thinking. And as far as Will, listen, he should have got yoked up. Cause who you playing with?
Who you basing up at and how you leaving off
Right,
campus?
sir. Huh.
Right.
Late. Who
And
child?
then
Who child?
and then Vivian still holding on to this. A couple of times watching it, I'm gonna be like, now come on now. Why are you not? You act like that y'all are not financially. Now I know you understand, like when y'all had the bedroom talk, like, Dad, we thought we was almost done type thing. But y'all they're in a situation financially where they can be able to provide for this child. I think it's also scary for her because she knows that Philip is trying to do this new project, and with a baby it comes like all hands on deck type thing. So but I was still like, girl, how long are we gonna drag this?
Right.
Right.
You're right.
Will zoned out again, thinking about what happened with him and Jeffrey. And Carlton was like, "Will, what the heck is going on? I'm worried about you. What's up?" Will keeps saying he's fine. I hate when people do that. When people are going through something and they just keep saying they're fine, they're fine, they're fine. I used to do that when I was a little younger. I always would say I'm fine, and I knew I wasn't fine. But the older I got, I was like, nah, I'm out just start, saying what's up, because there's no point in holding it in, because you hold stuff in so much and then you blow up and then you have this big old meltdown and everything from holding everything in. So
Mm-hmm. I agree.
yeah. They had this athletic assembly, And Lisa is going to Howard, HU. Shout out DC in the
No.
building. That's where I'm from.
I never been to Howard, but yeah.
Ooh, let me tell you something. Howard is a party down school.
I
Sidebar. I
heard.
didn't go to Howard, but I used to
Mhm.
go to
The
Howard.
parties and
I
stuff.
used to hang out, party down. And it's funny because my daughter was contemplating. She's in DC now, but she goes to Bowie
Mhm.
State University up there in Maryland. And so she was contemplating between Bowie State and Howard. And I was like, choose Bowie because Howard will get you. You'll get a good education. They have
Oh,
a great reputation, but woo, you
yeah.
got to be laser sharp. And the men on Howard at the time when I listen, it's a whole that's a whole story time for y'all. But Howard, but Howard
I
is a
wish
good school.
I wish I would have went to HBCU, but unfortunately, I didn't graduate from HBCU. So
Mhm.
I
I
just
didn't
I
either.
had kids, and then I just went to college. So I was like, let me
Yeah,
just
yeah.
get my
And
education.
that's the most important thing. I went PWI, and I shout out to Colorado Technical University. I went that route, and
Mhm.
it is it is a difference because I never went to HBCU, but I was around a lot of HBCUs because
Mhm.
DC is chocolate city. It's us everywhere, you know. Now they're kind of moving a lot of our Caucasian brothers and sisters in there, so it's turned into like Swirl City. So the
Mhm.
nickname used to be Chocolate City, but now we got a mixture going on. But
Mhm.
I was around a lot of HBCUs, and one thing I will say, I mean, PWI, I will say this: you get a little bit more with the
Mhm.
education, which is
Yeah.
sad. You do get a lot of other things, better resources, better things, stuff like that that
Mhm.
they don't necessarily have at a HBCU. But to
Okay.
each his own because you can still get a good experience at a HBCU too. So
Mhm.
I just think that everybody decide their own path, because a lot of people would give slack. You're not going to what? HBCU. I'm like, hold
I
up.
was like,
That don't mean I'm not going to represent my blackness.
right. Listen, shout out to Gremlin
So
and
that's
Southern.
Lisa.
Okay. I
Yes.
was watching
Okay.
Bayou
Come
Classic
on.
yesterday,
So,
so that's all.
oh yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes, yes.
I'm from New
I
Orleans,
wish
so
though I would have had a more. It's crazy because yes, yes. I had a opportunity to go to Alabama A&M,
mm,
declined it because I didn't want to be so far away from home,
mhm.
and then turned around going far away from home. But I don't know what it was, why I rejected Alabama A&M, and they were willing to work with me because my SATs wasn't the greatest at that time. They pumped up
Good.
SATs. Now, when the kids are going to school, you don't even have to have your SAT or ACT scores. They don't even look at that now, which I think is
Mhm.
messed up because we were made to feel
Really?
like if you don't have that, your life is over. Like you need to have a good SAT score.
Really? Because 'Cause they're pretty hard on the kids out
It was
here.
drilled into us.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. They're hard on the kids out here about the ACTs and SATs. I'm in Dallas, and it's like
Mhm.
I've never. I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
did not know
yeah. Now for college, you don't. It's optional for SAT, ACT scores, and but when I was going to school, it was mandatory. That was the first thing they asked, and I was just like, man, that's messed up.
that. Yeah.
But I guess. But moving on in that moment, we get Hillary. She is standing up to speak on behalf of her husband because her husband Demarcus did go to Bel-Air Prep, and they're allowing her to speak on his behalf because she's saying that seeing her face out there is a representation of him. And I felt so bad for her because I knew it was gonna go this way. She started crying, she had to leave, and her mom stepped up and kind of filled in a little bit of the wording that she couldn't say, and I was so heartbroken for her. I was like, oh, this sucks. You didn't even get to enjoy your husband. What were they married for? Maybe not even a year, I don't think, right?
No, he died on his honeymoon.
Yeah. And see, my thing is, I have to go back and watch season 3 because it's a whole blur. I don't even know if I watched season 3. And when they was doing a recap in the beginning, I said, what happened? I said, I gotta go back and watch season 3. Because 1 and 2, I was on it, and then I think it took such a gap or something from season 3 to come
Mhm,
back. I think
mhm.
that was when Will Smith did the slapping. And then it was like this whole pause in the
Oh,
show. You didn't know if he was
okay.
coming back or what was going on. So that's why season 3 seems like it was such a blur. But I do have to go back and kind of get into it and everything. Hillary walks in on Jazz and Will having a conversation. Jazz runs up to Hillary and say, hey, I just, wanted to tell you that I'm sorry what happened. I want to talk to you. And Hillary is like, Jazz, you're the last person I wanted to see. I said, pause, Hillary, why not treat Jazz like
I was just flabbergasted
that? Right.
because
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, let's be clear, because just as much as Jazz wanted to kiss you, you wanted to kiss him, and now the only reason you're mad is because LaMarcus is gone, and you feel
Right,
guilty. But
right,
you told LaMarcus about it, and LaMarcus was mad, but then he still married you anyway.
right, right. I was like, girl, look, it ain't like you slept with Jazz. I mean, stuff happens. You end up, unfortunately, finding yourself kissing a fine dude. It happens. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you got in bed with him or nothing like that. And
Right.
LaMarcus forgave her, so hey,
Did.
it should have been no big deal.
Mhm.
Actually, she's asking her mom because they want to make an announcement and celebrate the fact that Viv is going to get back into painting. So they call the whole family together. Some rich black people ish. Because I was like, ain't calling the whole family together, making a painting announcement. But
We gonna
Ashley was
take
like, why aren't you drinking? It would have been a whole text like, oh, this is what happened in the group text. We would have been like, oh, okay, cool, congratulations. But when you got money, you call the whole family together and get the champagne out and stuff like that. So Ashley is like, why aren't you drinking? I said, you know what, Ashley? You about to get a spanking, okay? Because you're getting out of pocket. Because you know why she not drinking, and you are not that naive and dumb to know that your mom may not want to reveal this in this moment, right?
right.
And so she says, we want to make this announcement. So Ashley is thinking that they about to make the announcement that she's pregnant. And she's like, oh, well, I'm just not drinking. And Ashley is like, are you not drinking because you're pregnant? And everybody was like, say what now? We was talking about her painting.
I I
Like,
didn't like that because it wasn't your story to tell. It was your mom's story to tell. And you're so
mhm.
anxious and you just want to say something. You could have went to your mom on the side and be like, "Mama, I found these pregnancy tests. Girl, you pregnant?" You know, because you don't know what she
Right.
wanted
Do
to
you want me
do.
to say something? Or
That's crazy.
right. Man, I said somebody slap Ashley because she getting out of pocket. So this is when, Philip finally finds out that, Via's pregnant. They sit in the bed, they talking about like, oh my
Mhm.
God, we're gonna be 64 by the time the person graduates. This, what is up? I said, listen, those things, those questions come up. They like, oh
Mhm.
my God, how the future looks and all this stuff. And I'm like, listen, don't fear. If y'all gonna have this baby, at least y'all got each other and the money to be able to raise
Yeah.
this child up. Don't worry about how old you're gonna be, how old you're
Mhm.
gonna look and all that.
Doesn't matter.
Just say, hey, God said be fruitful and multiply. He ain't saying when you get a certain age, cut it off. I think that's a world society standard that people are like, oh, once you get to this age, you shouldn't be having no more kids. But hey,
Yeah.
it's your prerogative. Rock out if that's what you want to do. Um, what else? Hillary is eating cake with Will and they downstairs and they talking about the pregnancy and Will is talking about he's, sorry that she lost her husband and all this stuff. And I like the moment that they were having, kind of like talking
Mhm.
to each other about like him getting kidnapped, her losing, everything kind of in one. Talking about mom's pregnant, that's crazy. Will made a comment and said, can y'all even still do that? I said, now Will, you got me messed up because they only like 40. I'm like, what you mean? Can they still do that?
You and can mind
And
your business.
will and have, right? It's like, mind your business, little boy.
Exactly. Stay in the child's place.
Oh,
But
exactly.
I wanted to
Um,
point. Oh,
yes.
I, I,
Oh
I,
yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to point out. So you know how they sat at the table and ate cake. They usually do that on the episodes when the sisters come in town or somebody come in town, one of their family members or somebody get into it, and on the show, on the actual show, and then they always go in the kitchen. They either eat whatever they cooked or cake or whatever. They
Uh,
always talk about their issues in the middle of the night around the table eating cake or whatever.
yes. I didn't even put two and two together. They do that. And I'm like, is that a real thing? Because I had never done that, like with my sister or my
Really?
brother or anything like that. Like just wake up and just eat stuff and just be talking over our issues. Like if we have issues or whatever's going on, like we talk about it during the times when everybody's up, and then when we go to bed, like we never see each other until the next morning. And we may bring it up again, but or we may not. But I've never had the whole wake up in the middle of the night thing and talk. And I guess because it's on your mind and you want to talk about it. But I didn't. They did used to do that on the show.
Yeah, and they say food
Love that.
will bring you together. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you notice you're eating amongst people, y'all gonna start talking, and everybody let
Yeah.
their guard down.
Absolutely. Hillary says nothing is going to make her feel better. Hillary is completely heartbroken. And
Mhm,
I understand. I get it. Like she is devastated because
mhm.
she thought she was going to have this life with this man and it's just gone just like that. Then with next part we get to Carlton. He's meeting with the Princeton rep. Carlton shared with the Princeton rep that he was a recovering addict and almost died because the Princeton rep was like, you're kind of boring. You're the basic person that we would accept. And Carlton was like, well, I was a crackhead and I used to die. I was like, wait, hold up. And I almost died and I was a crackhead. I was like, hold up, Carlton. But when he said that he almost died, the Princeton rep kind of paused and was like intrigued about what happened. I don't know if I would have went this far. I don't even know if I would have shared this. What you think?
He was wrong because what he did was he used a mirror situation to impress the rep. Because remember, last year she OD'd and Lisa had to rescue her out the pool. Sir, what are you doing? And Amira goes to this school. Like, I
Yeah.
just think he shouldn't have done that, but he tried to justify it with Will being in the car when it was about to go Jasmine Sullivan, these people situation. Um,
Hmm.
but he justified his reasoning for wanting to be into Princeton. And it's like, you don't have to lie, cheat, steal, beg, borrow to get something. If it's yours, it's going to be yours. Like, I was just
Yep.
like, really? You really use this lady situation?
Exactly. And I was like, now wait a minute, Carlton. And I was thinking to myself, did he almost die? So it was actually a Mirren's thing, not his thing. Now the truth was that he was on that stuff, but he
Yes.
didn't almost die.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We get finally Jeffrey pops back up in Philip's office. I was like, what Jeff? Now come on now, where the heck you have been at? So he pops back up and he says he's feeling guilty because Will was in harm's way.
Mhm.
Jeffrey says that he has to pay off a debt by serving his time, and he says that's going to mean that the people I'm with want to launder money through your new organization that you're starting. Philip was like, you got me messed up because no, that's not happening. Okay. And he walks off from him. And I
Mhm.
was just like, you know what? What the heck? And I'm glad that episode 3 put things into perspective because I
Yes.
was like, what is up? Because I would have put him out of my house. I'm like, Jeffrey, look, we cool and all. We've been rocking for a minute. But I was thinking to myself, what is this tie that they have that would keep him in this
Mhm.
man's house, having him wanting to even do something like this? What is that about? But when we get to episode 3, y'all gonna understand why.
Mhm.
Um, Carlton and Will, that's when they end up doing the Jasmine Sullivan at the end of this episode. As we wrap the first episode up, they end up busting the windows out the car of the people who had kidnapped Will because they found out where the car was at. Okay,
Mhm.
now it was funny because when Will got the bat and was walking toward the car and Carlton ran, I said, oh, Carlton ain't just gonna leave him high and dry. But then Carlton came back with a bat and said, listen, we live together, we family, we ride together, bad boys for life type situation. Now,
Oh my God, yes, ma'am. Girl. Okay.
boy. So that was episode 1. Did I leave out anything that you wanted to touch on?
No, just the only thing, a mirror coming back. Like,
Yeah.
girl.
Oh yeah.
Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, what? And she kept talking about her addiction. And I was like, oh my God.
I said, if we took a shot for every time she said addiction, we drunk watching the episode, it'd be like, dag on it. And even Carlton said, just stop talking about this dag on addiction. Like, what's the problem? So we had over right in the episode 2. Season 4, episode 2. Now it's on Peacock. They drop 3 episodes at a time. Okay. If y'all haven't done so already, go ahead and smash the like button. Go ahead and follow both my channel and Keywan's channel. Okay. So Will and Carlton, they're talking about how they hit the car up and there's no news of it. If 2 black dudes had, beat up a car in this community, there would have been something on the news. Nothing has been said right about it. Hillary ends up, she went to Costa Rica, and she just had to get away. She says that LaMarcus always wanted to be there, and so she wanted to get there to get some type of peace and clarity. It's also homecoming week at their high school, and they are talking about this new baby. Okay, so all of that is happening as we open it up. What you think about any of that?
All right. So what I did notice is Will was able to sleep better.
Yeah.
So it seems as though there will be no more PTSD. I feel like something is going to happen. I don't know what, but in the back of my mind. And you asked about Jeffrey coming back.
Yes. Well, the last episode he came back, but
so I'm glad that they're able now to get past it and feel better now that they can actually see Jeffrey.
Yes. Will is telling Jeffrey that he heard a shot. Just like Will thought, maybe we thought that Jeffrey had got, unalive. Jeffrey said his protection, Jeffrey in this moment let Will know that I know what y'all did. He said, because of my protection and my link to this organization, and he said it in code, is the only reason why y'all 2 are still walking around out on the street. And Will was looking like the old snap, about what we did. Yeah. He's like, I'm the only reason y'all still out here. Okay. Carlton got these white, I've never seen this happen before. Maybe it happens in some schools where kids ask each other to homecoming. I never had that experience right in high school. But Carlton gets these white roses from his girl, and she asks Carlton to homecoming. She had me messed up because somebody need to educate this young girl. You let the man ask you. You don't go be asking no man, even if it is some homecoming dance. If you don't ask me, we ain't going.
She said, "Don't make me beg." Well, I felt like you was begging when you asked him, but whatever.
Really? I mean, did your high school have anything like this where people were asking people to homecoming with these elaborate ideas and?
No, I don't think that was well thought out. After, like maybe in these past 10 years,
I think that is a thing because my daughter, she showed me a video when she was in high school that this guy had asked his girl to homecoming and he dropped a big old, like they have a banister, and he dropped a teddy bear down and they had the note, I guess you're going to go to homecoming. There was all this confetti and stuff. I said, what the heck is going on? You act like it's a proposal. Like these are creative in the way that they do stuff.
Yeah.
So Will did it right. He asked Lisa, she opened her locker, all this little fancy bells and whistles came out. Of course, she said yes, but I'm like, y'all dating anyway. So I don't understand why the heck you have to do all that. I mean, it just should have been understood that y'all was going together. And then After that, who else asked? Oh, Carlton was talking to Amira.
Mhm.
But then a football guy, I could not remember his name. He wanted to ask
Kareem.
Amira to the homecoming. And what was his name?
Kareem.
Kareem. He asked Amir to the homecoming, threw a football up there. Carlton caught it. He said that's actually for her. And he was asking Amir to homecoming. And she said yes out of spite because in truth, she really wants to kick it with Carlton, but he already going with somebody and
Mhm.
she ain't about to be second fiddle. So she said yes to Kareem.
And he looked like he felt the way. I don't understand why,
Yeah.
because you told Lisa, you explained to Lisa how, and you've been avoiding her. So you making it seem like you don't want to have nothing to do with her, and everything was about I forgot the young lady name, the little cutesy one. Everything was about you and her. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I mean, what you want?
right.
Viv has Viv is having morning sickness, child, and I understood all of that. I was pregnant with my daughter. I don't even know who called it morning sickness. I was sick morning, noon, and night. I threw up
Oh,
all day long for 3 months. I had
God.
lost 30 some pounds. I couldn't hold nothing down. Only thing I could hold down was McDonald's fries, water, and saltine crackers. I said, this baby's gonna be ghetto. Who is eating this?
Was it the salt that was keeping you holding it
Yeah,
down?
I
It
think it
might have
was
been the
the
salt.
salt, because the salt on the McDonald's fries, the salt on the saltine crackers, and the
Mhm.
water. That's all. And the doctor going to ask me, why am I losing weight? I said, sir, I'm sick all day
You
long.
don't
I'm
eat
pregnant.
it.
Like, I had the worst position when I was
Oh,
going through because I wasn't making the money I'm making now. So I had Obamacare or whatever. And
yeah.
I was it just was bad when you don't have proper insurance, the way that they treat you versus people who have insurance. It
Mm.
just sucks because he act like I was doing something to make myself lose weight. I said, sir, if I could eat, I would. I can't. Everything I was down to throwing up like water really in it. So it was just nothing left in me and I was still sick. So I
I'm
understand.
sorry. Oh my
I
God.
understand. And
Well,
it
let
actually,
that not happen this next pregnancy go around. There will be
listen,
no morning sickness. I
I
spoke
received it.
it.
I received
Period. Okay.
I received it, and it's actually I forgot what it's called. It is a sickness that's actually somebody
Oh,
told me about that. Not even my doctor, and it is medicine that you could take as a pregnant woman to kind of subside some of that morning sickness.
good.
But I had an extreme aggressive case, and so it was called something, but I can't remember the name of it.
Mhm.
But I have to Google it later. But Jeffrey is working with the gang, and he wants to launder the money through Legacy Heights, of course. Vivian is trying to figure out, are they safe in their house? Should they get him out the house? And then Ashley gets asked to homecoming. And then when she gets asked to homecoming, Olivia got mad and calls Ashley a flip flopping bee. What you think about that? Everything that we see.
Okay. So I get Vivian trusting, I mean, not, questioning Jeffrey, but I
Mm,
was also glad that he ran down, like, hey, you may not trust me, but everything I've done for the kids to ensure their safety should be the reason why you should trust me.
right.
Um, and he was never not, he was always honest about everything he had going on. And
Mm.
Olivia, girl, girl, like,
Ooh.
girl, you just a little lady scorn, okay? You cannot get mad. This girl don't want you no more.
Right. I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't want you. Leave
Period.
me alone. So Will and Carlton has their Black Sass line,
Mhm.
which I absolutely love.
Love
Every
it.
time we got something going, here comes the white man. Now this ain't no shade. Shout out to Replay Watchers. Anybody that's white, I ain't throwing tomatoes. I love y'all. But every time we got something going, here y'all come. So here comes White Connor and his friends wearing a white cis sweatshirt.
Mhm.
And boy, that did not go well in the hallway. Will was like, y'all gotta take that off. They said it was just a joke. Okay. So all of them started to take it off except for one dude. Now, me
Mhm.
and my daughter went back and forth about this because I felt two ways about it. On the one hand, I said the nerve, y'all cannot try to mimic what they're doing. Then on the other hand, I said, well, it is freedom if the school let them wear the black set shirt. I mean, they can't really tell the white people they can't wear the white set shirt. So it's kind of like I could have seen both sides. What you think about that?
I
But my
only
daughter's
see one
like,
side.
right? My daughter's like,
One
mom,
side,
no.
and it's the black side. Okay, everything else for me came from a space of privilege. Shout out to the white people. But everything came from a space of privilege because it was like all of a sudden thinking, well, let me say this. You've been thinking it ever since they had their
Mhm.
black set shirt. So you
Yeah,
felt like since they're doing it, I want to have a leg up. Ethan, you drive a whole Bentley. Why are we
right.
talking about you need to have a leg up? Now, I'm sure Raggedy Connor kind of spearheaded this whole thing as a
He
joke,
did.
but I was glad
Mhm.
that Carlton stood his ground because you remember he never is able to tell Connor, to stand his ground with Connor.
Yeah.
And I was I was happy that Carlton actually did that. But it didn't just something y'all been thought of this. Y'all just used this for
Mhm.
senior prank to show up and show out and say how you really feel. It
Mhm.
isn't right because every time we have something here, y'all come putting y'all
Mhm.
name on it and wanted to take it or wanted to take some type of credit. But then when we say something, we're being aggressive. No, we're standing up for ourselves. So I was glad that they stood up in the way they stood up for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it was funny. I thought what was funny is that how Carlton was had this argument with him about him driving this Bentley. And I'm like, Carlton, you live in a mansion? And you're black, you know what I'm saying? It's almost
They
like
are
the only
privileged.
difference between y'all is the color of your skin because y'all all go to this prep school that the ordinary, regular, smuggler black person could not
Mhm.
afford. So it was almost like what makes y'all different? Only difference is the skin color. I understand that our ancestors dealt with a certain thing, right? And that their ancestors did not, and there's still that white privilege there and things like that. But it's
Mhm.
almost like God kind of at this point, like right here, because I'm pretty sure, Carlton, you driving a nice little whip that I could only dream of having when I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like that Carlton was able to stand up because Will is there. I think Will's presence makes Carlton be a little bit more assertive, and
Mhm.
really rightfully so, because if you think about it, before Will came, Carlton was got kind of that the Where's Waldo of the black dudes, you know what I'm saying, in that school. And so
Mhm.
he had to kind of play the hand, but he couldn't really assert his culture and all of
Right.
that. So I like the fact that, and it's other black boys there though, but Will's presence, his uniqueness
Different.
and everything like that kind of
Mhm.
made them kind of come out of their shell and accept it. But and then every time white culture try to do something that we've done or mimic it, it always looks whack. Like we are so
It
original,
is
so unique. Because the black set shirt was everything. Because I was trying to figure out where I could get one at. Like I'm
I
just
thought
like,
about that. I
yeah,
wonder.
if
I
they
think
really
they should
want to
really sell it.
capitalize, they should sell it.
Yeah, they
I
should.
really want to research if they have it on sale because they should. I would
And
buy it.
and listen, to your point, when you talk about Carlton driving the same type of car, if we look back, in order for him to drive that, we also know that Philip had to work 10 times as hard to get,
Mhm.
because remember with the flashback in the bank, him wanting a bank
Mhm.
loan, and so he had to work 10 times as hard. Where you see Ethan and his parents probably didn't
Mhm.
have to. It was like generational,
Yeah.
old money or generational or whatever. But he
Yeah.
was able to get it just like that.
Yeah.
Vivian and Philip had to get it out the mud.
Oh
So
yeah.
I do feel like that them being privileged, even white people. It's always good to see privileged people, but for me, it's always good to see
Yeah.
privileged people.
Absolutely.
And talking about that, if whenever we get there. talking about we definitely got to get into Vi not wanting Will's college education to be paid for by the banks.
Listen, we're gonna have to hurry up and fast forward there because I'm just like, say what now? Say what now? What? We all needed help at one point or another. And why would you want your child to struggle? This is my thing. A good parent would want to set the step higher for their children. Like my daughter, I grew up in the hood, but my daughter didn't because there were certain things that was put in place to make sure that she didn't have to see and experience the same things I did. And so she's doing things that I didn't do at her age.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy to pass that torch. Not hating, not jealous, don't want to live through her or nothing. I am happy that she is elevating to a way that I've always wanted for her. And so with that being said, like Philip, he worked really hard so that his kids won't have to know the struggle. And now they don't have to know the struggle. And now it's a generational curse of struggle that's broken because Carlton is definitely going to go achieve and then achieve. And only way it'll get broken down is if, one of the children just, fall in the ranks. What's going on watching your, what would you say, watching your mouth reviews? Yes, thank you for showing love and support. Click the like button, click the follows above of our page. Thank you so much. And so because of this, right, because the white folks decided to wear the white sets shirts, they put out a letter saying that nobody in the school could wear anything that is offensive, racially biased, things like that. I say, here we go. So they couldn't do that. So their response to that was to boycott homecoming at their school and do their own homecoming. I said, get it together. If you ask me, their own homecoming was lit. I would have wanted to go to the Black Sabbath homecoming.
The way I was in the bed, I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna be the auntie at the homecoming, okay? Because I'm coming.
Listen, one of their friends' father was able to pay for the whole thing. The way. What's funny is though they stole the balloons from their school and took off running.
Child.
I said, you know what? Yeah, take the balloons.
Y'all owe us something.
So Lisa is saying that she feel like she want to be a little bit of a bad girl. She said she tired of being this squeaky clean chick, right? So she says that she going to join the dance squad to kind of put a spotlight on her where she doesn't end up being known as the school's auntie or something like that, right? So I was like, girl, right. She gets on this dance squad and end up learning this explicit dance. And I'm like, how did you learn that in 2 days or 3 days or however long they had? Because I would have been looking like a fool because I would not have learned all the moves.
Right. Like I would have been like, girl, wait a minute. Okay. My question is, how did Amira get on the dance team that fast? Like Amira.
Exactly.
Did you I mean, I feel like she rehabbed her way on into this dance team, but I'm glad. And I'm like, well, are you the captain now?
Exactly. Okay. And then what's up with Ashley having this bad girl streak? So she fights Olivia for calling her a B again. And I approved of that. I said, slap the white off of her. Really, because she's doing too much. But then she turns around at the Black Fest. Right. Then she turns around at the Black Fest and brings alcohol. And I was like,
I think it was her. You remember when those two kids was talking to her and it was like, are you the Ashley Banks? Yes. And I think she felt the way because now she feel like I'm just Carlton and Hillary's little sister. But yeah, that's why she did all of that because she didn't want to just be their sister. And it's like, girl, you still gonna be their sister. Why are you trying to come here and get lit? Like y'all don't even need any alcohol for this debacle because it was already lit. Okay, I was
really.
I enjoy it.
Will had to talk to her. I know. I enjoy watching it. Will had to talk to her and let her know, listen, you ain't gotta do all this. You know what I'm saying? Let's put the alcohol back and everything. You actually in your own right, you can make your own footprint in the
Yep.
sand. You ain't gotta be nobody's runner up, lapdog or nothing like that. At the event, Jeffrey provided security. Phil gives Will some condoms, and I was just like, what the? I mean, because the homecoming was outside.
Mm.
I'm like, now how is that going to happen? But we also see that it could very well happen. We got the Black Sets boys come out and dance. It was Carlton, Will,
Mhm.
and their friend. And they come out and do their little line dance and stuff like that. It very much was giving HBCU this whole Black Sets, like
Yeah.
just getting their life. Then the ladies dance. Then we see that Lisa wants to pull Will into the closet and get her little, yeah, yeah, yeah on, right? So just like this. What did you think about them getting it down? I'm like, well, I'm glad Phil gave them some condoms. What did you think about them getting in the daggone pantry, about to get it on?
I I think something tells me this wasn't their first time. Um, but that was just Lisa trying to prove that she just not an auntie. And I'm just like, you really don't have to do that because Will said, I like the quiet girl, you know.
Yeah,
So
not
I was just really,
yeah.
yeah,
Not all men like wild women. Like, I don't know
no.
why she thought that notion was a thing, but I think it was more so she was trying to prove that to other people, not just Will. Like, she didn't want the school to look at her as just being this whole timid, prissy, good girl status. And I'm just like, it's nothing wrong with being a good girl.
I mean, when they came out, they didn't think that. I was like, what y'all doing? Get out there before I get a belt and whoop y'all. Okay.
Then Will, Carlton talks to Amira. Amira, because first he's dancing with the girl he came with. He's looking at Amira. The girl is like, listen, you should have asked her if you really wanted to go with her. And she walks
Period.
off. And that would have been me, because what you're not going to do is disrespect me. I keep looking at this chick while we up here trying to dance, right? And so I was here for her. Then he goes to try to talk to Amira. Amira was like, listen, we not a thing, it's not going to work out. Just leave me be, and you going about your business and deal with who you dealing with.
So my question to you
Mhm.
is because I felt like he really didn't want anything. He just wanted to have like a moment with Amira. I didn't feel like he
Mhm.
genuinely wanted anything because it seemed like the same thing he said at the party was the same thing he talked to her prior to this party. But
Mhm.
I also like what she told him. Listen, I'm not your person. I'm not gonna be your second place. I feel
Mhm.
like Amira saying all of that was her like being sure of herself. And I guess that's my
Yeah.
question. Like, what do you think? Do you think he really wanted something or he just wanted to have a conversation because he's seen her in this different light after she danced?
Mhm.
Get your hormones together, Carlton.
Yeah, probably that's what it was. I think Carlton, because even Viv, when they was prepping for the Black Sets, she was like, I thought you was coming with a mirror. And I'm like, well, I mean, so I don't know. It may be something there where he really does want to be with her again, but I just feel like that ship he needs to let that go ahead and sail and
Yeah.
deal with what he currently has going on, because it just wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
Then they crown Black Sets' first homecoming king and queen, and it
Oh,
happens to be Will and Lisa, but Will and Lisa is up in the daggone pantry getting some bound chicken wow going on. And she was like, hold up, did they just call our name? So then all of a sudden they get all dressed and then they come out the closet and was like, hey, thank y'all. And they was like, they like, talk about being walking on the wild side. Will up there still zipping up his pants and all that. I'm like, well, dang, y'all could at least like got yourselves all the way together before you came out. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Um, so Philip is now going to allow the money to be laundered through
Mhm.
the legacy business. And I was just like, wow, I knew it was going to happen because Jeffrey was basically telling them the way they operate, the way this gang works, you don't have a
Mhm.
choice for real. So
Mhm.
at the end of this episode, the police pulls up and says, I have a warrant for Will and Carlton's arrest. And I said, I said, what the heck? Because the gang leader sent the police because she got friends in the
Mhm.
police. Now the gang leader is whatchamacallit from
Power.
Power.
Noma.
Yeah, what was her name? Noma. I could not think of her name. I
Mhm.
said Noma on here. And wasn't it the same car she had on Power? I
You talking
feel
about the G wagon?
yeah, I feel like that was the same car.
Probably. Probably. She always playing the bad person, but you know that's his wife. That's Philip's real wife.
Oh, in real life? Oh, I
Mhm.
didn't know that.
Mhm.
Oh,
Her
okay,
name's
okay. Yeah, I didn't
Caroline.
know that.
But
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's his wife.
Oh, wow. That's
Mhm.
interesting. I wonder how it feels to work with your spouse.
I don't know, but if you watch Carl Weber's Family Business, he
Uh-huh.
the one who played Vega, Michael
Uh-huh.
White, his wife is on this season. And
Uh-huh.
actually is his love interest.
And they've also had it happen on what was that? Lucius Lyons. What was that? That series.
Oh, yeah, 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 with the
When
son and Anika.
yes. Anika and the son, they were playing their roles together. So it happens on these
Mhm.
shows. I know I would be like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it. But hey, but we gotta get this money. So I wouldn't even I'd be like, whatever. So episode 3, y'all, we go into that. Will and Carlton is in the courtroom because they got arrested. They are
Mhm.
speaking for the judge, saying that they've learned their lesson. They don't want no smoke. They want to continue on their senior year. They, will do better. And so
Mhm.
the judge is sitting up there listening and looking and all this stuff. I said, "Oh, come on, white man, don't do this." So the judge goes and says, "Okay, I'm not gonna give y'all jail time." And I was like, "Whoo!" He said, "But don't celebrate because y'all got community service and y'all gonna be doing community service and y'all have to complete it. And if y'all don't,
Mhm.
then now I don't mean to play the race card, but I feel like if they was white, they would have even got community service. I feel like they would have made their parents pay like some type of fine, and they know Philip was representing them." And they know that Philip could afford it. I feel like they would have been like, well, these are two bright, shining examples because Will says he's playing sports and wants to merge business. Carlton saying he hoping to go to Princeton at the top of his class. The judge knew all of this. These are not like they're juvenile delinquents. So I felt like if they was white, he would have been like, just pay a fine. Don't let me see you in here again type thing. But to give them community service and be like, yeah, I have to do it. I don't know. Is it just me or are you feeling
I'm always gonna stick with I do think about that because yeah. And I guess once we get to the end, we'll talk about
yes.
why they didn't. I mean, why they had to, but he was like, you can't drive, you have
Yes.
to you have to complete the program, which I still think it's good because you need to get in a program, you need to be doing something. There is actions to your consequence. And
Absolutely.
black or white, I just don't feel like nobody should not be able to have consequences to their actions, even though this stems from you being kidnapped.
Yeah.
Still, they don't know that. And you can't tell
Hmm.
them that without getting into deeper trouble.
Right.
So you gotta pay for that. I think this was Snoop Dogg gonna come in because I think he's gonna be over the program.
Yeah, be there. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what Snoop is going, what he's going to bring to it. But we do see Will's dad. Lou was there, played by Marlon, which I am loving Marlon in these more serious roles. He was in him that
Mhm.
movie recently, which I still feel like was a crash and burn. I mean, y'all let me know in the
It
comments
was
what y'all think.
sad.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I did not like it. Now Marlon did his big one, because we're always seeing Marlon in these comedic roles and things like that. But he's taking on more serious kind of roles. And
Yeah.
so he was Will's dad, Lou, and he was in the courtroom and he was there to support Will and everything
Mhm.
like that. I thought that was cool. And then Will turns around and invites him to Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Um Will is excited that Lou's gonna be there. Philip says, I'm here to help you too, Will. And in this episode, I feel like Will was trying to compete with Lou about who is the example force in Will's life. And it was just going back and forth, but eventually they found their way and brought it back together. What you think about Lou coming to Thanksgiving?
I just don't see it for Lou, but
Really?
I don't. Only thing I think of when I think of Lou was when Will had that episode and that cry and that breakdown with Uncle Phil on the TV show. But I just, because it's like, I get Lou had a hard life, but Marlon, I think I'm learning to try to separate Marlon from Lou. Okay.
Yeah.
But his aesthetic, his posture, his demeanor is always so mean. Like, like, sir, why he gonna get? But he does let his guard down. I will say this season, this episode.
Yeah.
So I thought his presence was a whole lot different than before. So he was all right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because he must have went to therapy or something, because he even has it where he's able to talk to Will's mom, and they can kind of conversate and co-parent or whatever they doing. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's a giant, leaps and steps. So Viv is talking to Hillary on the phone on FaceTime, and she's like, you're not going to be here for Thanksgiving. Dang, she's like, yeah, the flights are grounded in Costa Rica. Can't get back on time. I'm going to miss y'all too. And Viv is kind of like, man, she normally the one to do the cooking and the meal and the menu planning and all that stuff. And now I got to do. I understood her pain, because I would have been like, dang, I don't want to do all that.
I mean, if I got all this money, I would have just called a caterer.
That's what I was thinking.
Like, okay.
I mean, it's something sweet about family coming together in the kitchen and cooking.
But
if you're dealing with the baby situation going on, but I do like how everyone came together. But I thought she was about to try to put on her own back. I'm like, oh man, we geriatric over here. I would have hired somebody. I'd have been like, oh, no.
I'm not doing none of that.
Exactly. Vivian did go and she talks to Carlton about the court case. He says, why didn't you show up? He says, I just didn't want to see my son and my nephew in that light. And she says, y'all kids been wilding out. Y'all in court, and it could have went a different way. And then Ashley comes up and she's like, Ashley, you ain't no different. You've been talking back, rolling eyes, getting in the fights, taking alcohol. Ashley was like, that was last week. Why you ain't over it by now? I was like, girl, just because something happened last week don't mean that's the end.
That's when you about to get knocked in your throat, girl.
Right. Carlton and Ashley says that, we need to help mom out to cook Thanksgiving. And so they do that. Will he rallies up everybody and says, okay, you're gonna be on yams, you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. Viv and Philip, they getting out the good old china. Looks like they about to they loading the table up for it. Jeffrey says he cannot stay for Thanksgiving. He has to meet up with the gang. I said, you know what? This gang is getting on my nerves already. But real talk, Jeffrey wasn't going to be there because he still has some guilt on him about what happened to Will. And what you think about all of that?
It was good to see everybody get together and prepare, but the lazy me would have been like, called the caterer last week. Okay. Okay. And then isn't this the part where we see them at their younger age when he first met? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember, I will say this. I don't remember Jeffrey, and I watched it twice. And I think I saw it the first time, but probably looked over it the second time when he left and said that, he wasn't staying. But I do remember him coming back, because I did write that down, coming back and explaining why. So,
So we get that flashback. And let me just tell you, who is the casting person? Because the flashback people was fine. I was like,
you know who one of the producers is, and I did not know this. Keisha Sharp.
Okay.
You know who? Remember on Girlfriends, William was married to Monica. Her.
Uh-huh.
She's
Oh, okay, that's her name.
she's
Okay.
one of the producers.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
She
I
know how to
don't
pick
know,
'em.
but huh?
She know how to pick them.
I don't know if it was her who picked them, but the casting up until like now has been superb. From the
Yeah.
family to the people on the show,
Hmm.
superb.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we get 18 years earlier, we see a young Jeffrey and a young Philip. Jeffrey sitting at the bar drinking. Philip comes up and he asks for a whiskey in a dirty glass. Now that had me messed up. I said, "Oh, in a dirty glass? Is that a drink,
Hmm.
or are you just wanting to get a dirty glass?" Like I
That's
said,
what I
that
was.
was
Yeah,
nasty.
I was thinking maybe that's like a brown drink.
Yeah, I was like, I hope that's the name of the drink and not the actual that you didn't want them to grab a dirty glass and you drink out of it. But I said, hey, I don't know. So then we get to the part where the family's cooking and they're singing. Ain't No Mountain High Enough comes on and they start singing it. Now I'm thinking to myself, does anybody know the second verse? Because every time we sing that song, we get to that first verse and then we just let it go.
I don't even know the first verse. Okay, I
Every
don't know a
time
lot
that
of
song
songs.
comes on, I can hit you with the first, and then it drops off. So when they was singing it, I said, "Oh, that's a black thing," because nobody knows. I said, "We only
What?
know the first." Marlon, Philip forgot to turn the oven on, and that turkey was not done at all. I said, "Sir, now come on, Carlton." It was like a natural disaster because Carson was like, "How did you forget to turn the oven on?" I said, "Calm down, sir."
Wait a
He said,
minute,
"We can
Carlton.
order." Right. He said, "We can order on Thanksgiving."
The
Marlon
fact
comes.
that y'all could have just solved all of this, but I get it. Just getting a, because I stand on that, getting a person to cater, but it takes away from the ain't no mountain high enough, them calling
Yeah,
Hillary. It takes away from that.
yeah,
Sorry about that.
yeah. I don't care. We still could have sung the song and let the caterer set up, and we could. I still would have been like, "Oh, put it over there, right there." But so as soon as the turkey thing happened, then we get Lou shows up, and Marlon finally went bald. Thank God. Because it seemed like his hairline was like here, 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 here. And now he was saluting back here. I said, Marlon, just cut it off. He finally went bald. And I was
Was,
like, thank you. Now,
is that
is
his? That was his, not his real hair. That was the hair he had plain. Um, was his Lou?
uh-huh. So
Okay,
wait, that was
okay.
a fake bald thing. I thought that was his
I don't
actual bald
know.
head. Because I feel like if it is his actual bald head, I think it's about time he went bald because for a long time he was
Man,
holding on to the little piece of hair in the middle, and the
really?
hairline was like right here, and he was just holding on to them little baby locks there. And I said, Marlon, just go bald. And the forehead just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger because the hairline kept receding. So
Oh, my
I
lord.
hope he
Okay,
finally
I did
went.
not know that.
So Lou said, let's check it. I could fry this turkey up and it only take me like 30, 45 minutes. They was like,
Probably.
set it up. Listen, we had a fried turkey for Thanksgiving. My husband did. It was
Mm-hmm.
absolutely amazing. Fried turkeys, to me, is the way to go. It was juicy. You don't have that dry stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was here with Marlon, like, well, fried up.
I've never had a fried turkey. I'm not a turkey girl, but I've
Mm,
never had a fried turkey. And, you know, being from New Orleans, Thanksgiving is always traditional. But in
uh,
this house, we had rotel dip, and we didn't
uh-huh.
make the tacos, but we just had rotel dip.
Yeah. I don't blame you because for some reason I had a taste for a seafood boil. I did not
Mhm.
want regular Thanksgiving
I
food.
did see that. I think you had it on your
Yeah,
short. Yes, I saw that.
I did it. I did it after Thanksgiving, but I wanted one on the actual Thanksgiving. But because I was going over my husband's family house, they was doing the regular smuggler
Mhm.
Thanksgiving. But I wanted like seafood boil. I don't know why on Thanksgiving. I was like, I don't want regular food. I want the seafood boil. But you know. So Lou, he says that he lets Philip know. Oh no, Lou said that he has a job back in Philly,
Mm-hmm.
and he's trying to go back to Philly to take this job. So I was just like, wow, you about to leave Will? I was thinking that this was going to be the part from the original Fresh Prince where Will had the moment, or did they already do that on a different season and I missed it?
Mm-mm. When he left the first time, I think Will didn't feel. I think they had a no, he was still out there because he was
Mm,
cutting hair somewhere in
mm,
Cali. But
mm.
so this time, because he actually had a conversation with Will, I think he was trying to maneuver his way out, but he probably didn't realize when Philip blabbed it out. I don't think they realized Will had overheard it, so he had
Yeah.
to explain himself.
Yep, yep. That's crazy. I wanted to see that episode. I was waiting. I was like, this is gonna happen. I think he's gonna do the little cry and all of that. That would have solidified his acting ability. If he brought that part out of like,
Mhm,
ooh, that's
mhm.
good. So Carlton and Ashley, they up in the kitchen trying to read their grandmother's recipe. You know, a pinch of this, a tablespoon of that, a handful of that, a glop of that. He's like, what's a glop? Whose hand? Carlton is confused, and I'm just like, see, it's trial and error. You just got to taste a little bit, and you just got to do it, right?
Mhm.
Says Ashley says that her grabbing alcohol doesn't mean that she's a crackhead. No point, no shade,
I mean,
but
I get it.
she was like, because Carlton telling her, you know, you got to calm down, trying to talk to her, and she was like, okay, I grabbed a few bottles. That don't mean I'm a crackhead. No shade, but I'm just saying.
Mm, child.
Um, Will shows Lou his room and he says, Dad, how many Jordans you got? He says, I get J's for every straight A report card I get. I said, Dad. I said, I never got that. um, Lou is reading Lou is giving him some reading advice. He says that you should try this book, Make Me Wanna Holler. And the books did sound interesting because Will said that Uncle Bill had gave him a book that was very good for him to read. And so Lou was saying, nah, try this book. You could see the kind of I'm a better father dynamic that started to
Mhm,
play out at this moment. Will calls Lou dad. It kind of threw Lou off.
mhm.
Um, didn't want to tell him he was going to Philly. He was about to, but then he changed the topic because he didn't want to, I guess, hurt his feelings. What you think about those things? The dynamic is starting to play out.
Um, I wish he had told him, but I get it. When you hear that this was your first time hearing the word dad, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it just threw me off. So I'm a simmer in that. I'm a mentally
Mm-hmm.
simmer in that. That the fact that my kid finally called me dad for the first time. The book situation, I do feel like the jealousy rift between Lou and Phil on being a better dad is a thing. But I
Mm-hmm.
will say this, the Four Agreements is really good. I'm a bookie. I love
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
So Four Agreements is really good.
I gotta check that out.
Oh, it's
Mm,
really good. It's really
mm.
good.
Okay, okay. See, I'm more of now audio book, like
Oh,
because I
yes,
feel
the
like I can
audio.
listen while I'm going, but I don't want to lose my reading either. So I kind of
Mhm.
want to be like the book person, but the audio books. But I see myself leaning more towards audio books because I'm always on the go moving, especially what I do for work. I need my hands. I'm always moving. So when I got my earbuds in, it's like a podcast, audio book, something like that.
Mhm. That's
But
me.
yeah, yeah. Will and Lou, um, they're saying, hold on, what I write?
The
Oh,
prayer.
okay. They start playing this game
Mhm.
called Black Taboo. And Carlton, in this moment, Carlton and
Yeah.
Philip was giving me white cess vibes. I don't know nothing. Because when it was Will and Lou turn, they was rattling it off like
Red Kool-Aid.
I was
Kool-Aid.
like, dang, they was doing it because I mean the clues was just like that, you
Mm.
know. And I was just looking at them like, how the heck y'all?
I actually when I looked to see, I looked at it to see what they were playing. I went online and found that game, and it's
Okay,
like I think
okay,
it's black owned. I ordered it, but I ordered
okay.
the 2090s in the 2000s version.
Yeah, I wish we would have had that on Thanksgiving because we were playing games, but we didn't have a black taboo. That would have been really funny.
You'll get
Um
oh listen, Christmas coming.
oh yeah. Oh definitely. Definitely. So I'm gonna have to check into it and get it.
I'm gonna send you
So
the link.
okay. So Lou takes Lou they say that dinner is ready. And so Philip starts praying and everything. He about to close out the prayer. And Lou takes over the prayer. And then he gives a scripture. Then Philip takes over the prayer. I said, oh my goodness. It reminded me of the Johnson family reunion when they was like, oh Lord,
Yes.
but don't let me tell mama about when you did this. Oh Lord, oh what? They just
Don't
kept
be
bouncing the
childish.
plan back and forth. I
Don't be
said, here
childish.
we go. They still try to flex their muscle in this moment. And Will just ends it. He says, listen, I'm hungry. Let's eat. Okay.
Mhm.
Too much praying going on. We we flash back again to Jeffrey calling the baby mom to check in on Frederick. We see Jeff and Phil. At this moment, he was invited over to Philip's house for Thanksgiving, and at this time they was in their tiny apartment, just starting out and things like that. Whoever played young Hillary, this baby was so beautiful. I said, "Oh my gosh,
She was a
look at her!
cutie.
She was
Mhm.
so cute." And I was like, "Oh my god, look at her chocolate soul." And
Mhm.
then we flash back to the dinner table, and Carlton actually wants to know about Lou's time in jail. And Ashley says, "Yeah, because Love After Lockup is my show." I said, "Mine too."
This is gonna be my first time watching it.
It
Everybody was
is.
telling me to watch it.
Oh my gosh. Hold on to your seats. You are going to be, let me tell y'all, live chat, replay watchers. Y'all gotta check out Love After Lockup. It come on in January, I think January 30th, I believe. I gotta double check the date. But that thing will have you in the chokehold. You're gonna be watching it like,
Really?
what?
So Mrs. Best, because shout out to Mrs. Best and watching mouth reviews. I was on there. I was listening in on their live, and they was
Uh
talking about love after lockup, and it's like love during lockup and a love
yes.
after lockup. I didn't know that that was
Uh-huh.
a thing.
Yes, it started off with Love After Lockup, and
Okay.
then they turned it into Life After Lockup,
So
then Love During Lockup. So they have
so
three franchises out of it.
oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
it's
So which
I
one is
really don't
coming on?
the one that's coming on now is Love After Lockup, which is the one that started it all, which is my favorite one.
Okay.
I can do Love After Lockup and Life After Lockup. Love During Lockup, I hate that. And they haven't really brought it back. Like they did it like one or two seasons and they found out that the ratings wasn't there the way it needed to. So it's really like Love
Really?
After Lockup and Life After Lockup. Yeah.
So what's
So
the
but Love
difference
After Lockup.
between is life after lockup? Wait,
Mhm.
what's the difference between love after lockup and life after lockup?
Well, Love After Lockup is almost like Love During Lockup because
Mm-hmm.
they meet the people while they're in jail. And
Mm-hmm.
so they carry on this relationship and they're preparing for them to get out and meeting their families and all this other stuff. So that's Love After Lockup. And
Oh,
normally on Love After Lockup is when you're going to see them coming out of jail on that one.
oh,
So Life
okay.
After Life is when they've been out for a little bit and they really start to build their lives and you start to see all the stuff that happens if they go back to jail, things like that. But Love After Lockup
Mm,
is staple. And that show, and so
it's
Vivian
good.
was telling me, you shouldn't be watching nothing like that. I said, Vivian, let me tell you something. It's educational.
It's what not to do. What
Right.
not to do.
And Lou said, you know what, to keep it 100, there are some pen pals up in the prison that do write prisoners
Hmm.
and things like that, like they did in Love After Lockup.
They
So
on Facebook. I have found. I don't know what
they
I was.
actually have
I scrolled up on it.
they have a TikTok. Some of these inmates have TikToks and you can find them.
I can imagine.
Child,
No,
listen.
ma'am.
I'm
No,
I'm not
ma'am.
I'm not gonna do it.
I don't even want to be bothered with somebody who's already free. Okay, you
Right.
think I won't be bothered with somebody who's locked up?
I'm telling
Hey.
you, the free dudes already got the problems.
My
So
God.
then we get to the flashback again of Jeff Jeffrey encouraging Philip, telling him, everything's going to work out. You
Mhm.
where you're at right now is challenging, but you are going to excel. Um, and then we see Lou and Philip trying to do this challenge of fatherhood at the table.
Mhm.
He's basically saying now you want to co-parent and be a dad. You ain't been around stuff like that. Lou says he has to tell, talking with Philip, saying he has to tell Will that he's leaving. And then Will walks in and overhears it, and now he has to tell him that he's leaving. Carlton will talk about Carlton will talk about Lou's prison story really helping them out because Will ends up going outside. Carlton meets him out there. They talk about how the prison story actually helped them because it could have really been them.
Mhm.
Um, what else? I like this that what was said that Carlton said to Will, and I said, "Oh, this about to be written somewhere in my house." It says it's not. He said it's not about the ride being perfect, but about staying on. And I was like, I
When
said,
he
that's good.
when he
Carl,
said we're better together or something.
that one, he said we're better together. But after the better together, he was saying that it's not about the ride being perfect, but it's about the staying on. This is when Carlton and Will was outside kind of having their
Oh,
moment.
okay.
So I thought that was a pretty deep quote or something that we all could use. Like even when we're going through life when it gets rough and it's just like, I just want to quit this or quit that or don't be involved whether in relationships or jobs, whatever. But life isn't going to be perfect. It's going to be full of potholes. But as long as you endure and stay on the path and
Mhm.
keep pressing
Mhm.
forward, then it's going to work out. So I thought that was cool. Did I miss anything up to this point? Any takeaways that you had?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
No,
okay,
I don't remember that conversation. I will say
um,
that.
okay,
But mm-mm.
okay. Viv at this moment asked Lou to take accountability. Viv gave it to him a straight up no chaser. Okay, Vivian said, "You know what's crazy though? Philip used to be your ride or die, whether you know it
Mhm.
or not. Because when you
Mhm.
used to have arguments with Vi, and she would come over our house because of y'all arguments. Philip would tell her to go work it out with you because the one thing he did right was being a good father to Will at the time.
Mhm.
So what you think about that?
I was glad that because I did write that down. I was glad that Vivian did tell Lou like, hey, you're sitting here blaming Philip and
Mm-hmm.
he's difficult, but he's difficult for a reason because he did ride for you. And then you, as he stated at the table, he was like, the one thing about going to jail is you disappoint everybody that love you, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So yeah, I felt like somebody should have told Lou to take some type of accountability. And I feel like honestly, Vivian have been setting everybody straight in these past 3 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's the pregnancy, the hormonal, but even for her not showing up at the courthouse for Carlton and Will, like
Mhm.
I don't want to see y'all being hauled off to jail, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, I wasn't mad at Viv. I'm not mad at where she is, emotionally. I guess when it comes to her
Mhm.
family, even her, asking Jeffrey the right questions, like, can we trust you? And
Yeah.
even clocking Philip, like what's going on between you and Jeffrey? Like I was just
Mhm.
here for Vivian clocking everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Get everybody all together.
Everybody.
Because this is when after that he goes and says, up there goes them Smith women with that fire and everything like that. It's like, yes, sir, and I'm here for it.
Mhm.
Because you need to take accountability. Stop making it seem like that you were this stand-up model dad.
Yeah.
Because if you were, then why is Will here living with us and doing life
Hmm.
with us? If you was in
Hmm.
his life where you needed to be in there for your family. Carlton then talks to his dad and basically tells Philip, stop competing with Lou because you all are better together. Like, why
Yes.
are you
Yes.
competing with? That's when that came, the better together part.
Hmm.
Why are you
Okay.
competing with him? And so then Philip had to think about it, process it, and he was just like, he gives tickets to a basketball game, saying maybe you can go with Will before he leaves. He gives that to Lou, and Lou is like, okay, cool, thank you, whatever. Philip gives Lou his props for showing up
Mhm.
for Will in the court situation, and I think this was a good moment. They at this moment they realize, we are two people that care about Will, and we
Mhm.
can both be fathers to him in different ways.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be that just because you wasn't there that you don't have to be a part of his life from this point on. You may have made some mistakes, but you're here now trying to make up for it. And so Will and Lou are talking, and they're just like, this thing is going to keep on rolling. Um,
Mhm.
they was dropping bars in this episode with some of the quotes, because Lou said, "Don't let anyone have power over
Mhm.
your future." He
Mhm.
also said, "Focus on the game and let everything else go." See, my mind, when people talk like this, my mind go to certain things that's going on in my personal life,
Mhm.
and I think about it. Okay, don't let nobody have power over you. Got that?
Mhm.
Don't focus on the game, but let everything else go. Focus on the game. Game could be a relationship. It could be finances. It could be a
Yes.
job. Anything. Focus on that and let everything else go. If it
Mhm.
don't serve you, then
Let it
let
go.
everything go. So,
That
what
was.
you think about that? With all of that?
I thought that the Nuggets was great from
Yes.
Carlton telling his dad we're better together. I don't know why that
Mhm.
stuck with me. Focus on the game.
Yes.
I feel like the Nuggets that they're pushing, I just thought that they were a good touch to, I guess, the scene, but it's just something we can all grab and
Hmm.
take with us. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, while we having this conversation, I just didn't like the college conversation.
No, and we get to that point. So, did I ask that? I think
It was when they talked
that.
because he,
Okay.
yeah.
So, Will is playing the piano, which he's talented, just like Luke can play the piano and everything. Then, Ashley comes and she comes to lay in the bed with her mom, and the mom is just
Hmm.
shocked by that because they haven't had that time in a minute. And Ashley lets her mom know that high school is getting hard, because I can't
Hmm.
find my people, my tribe, things like that. And the mom lets her know, you are this talented, gifted, bright, beautiful young lady. You set the tone when you walk in the rooms and things like that. Vivian is giving very much
Yeah.
mother and correction and everything is going on. I don't know if it's the baby that's like making her like check people and give that motherly advice and a whole nine.
Hmm.
But I think the character that she is playing in Viv embodies Aunt
Hmm.
Viv number one on the Fresh Prince. Like
Yes.
I
Yes.
just see that in her. Now, not taken away from Aunt Viv number two, she had her moments.
Mhm.
But Aunt Viv number one, the way she was motherly, professional, sassy, ghetto, all of that rolled into one. Could get you together in a moment.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, just did it with so much poise and grace about
Mhm.
it. I don't know, man. I wish
Yeah.
that she stayed on that show and that her and Will would have worked that out at that time. I mean,
But she's gonna be on this. She's gonna be on this season.
oh, is she? Okay.
Mhm.
That's gonna be interesting because
Mhm.
her and Will in real life did squash the beef, but I think
Mhm.
at that point in time it was just a lot going on. He was young and it was a lot of stuff, and she just didn't like the way that things were rolling. But when you got somebody that's 17 years old and got their own show, and it's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he's the star basically.
Mhm.
If he don't like you, you going you gonna
Yeah.
go. So, what else? We flash back to young Philip and Jeffrey again. He tells Jeffrey that he got approved for this business loan that he didn't apply for. And Jeffrey, he was like, "So how'd you do it?" and everything. And Jeffrey, helped out with that. Jeffrey says that I sat down at this bar, and that night I sat down, I didn't want to live because my wife, my son had been taken back to London. The moment you sat down, you saved my life. And I said, you know what? They're not gonna have me crying.
Because I was like, was Jeffrey getting ready to?
I think
That's what I was
so.
thinking.
I think so. He said you invited me into your home for Thanksgiving and your beautiful
Mhm.
family and everything like that. All of that poured into him and helped him
Yeah.
save his life. And I was like,
Mhm.
wow. I said, y'all not about to have me crying watching
I
this.
and this is where we knew that Jeffrey's loyalty.
Yeah,
This is the start of Jeffrey's loyalty to that family. He has never not
hmm,
been loyal. You
yeah,
know, I think with the whole, funneling the money, I think
yeah,
I hope him and Jeffrey will have a plan that's going to
yeah,
be very strategic that
yeah,
can, you know, so we'll
yeah.
see.
Yeah, because even when they were sitting there, he asked him at their younger age, like, "What are you running from?" And Jeffrey was like, "How much time you got?" And he was like, "Give me another drink or whatever." Just started telling me. So Philip very much knew what he was running from, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking to myself, he saw something in Jeffrey
Mhm.
that he was just like, "That doesn't scare me. Like, I still want this man in my life and in my
Yeah.
family."
Yeah.
And then we came back to the present. We see Jeffrey's like Philip still up eating some dessert. Jeffrey's like, I left because I felt guilty about what happened with Will.
Mhm.
Philip told him, gave him a plate and said, "You will always have a seat at my table." I thought that was so awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and Vivian in the bed, and I could understand this part, more money, more problems. Because Vivian was like, "Yo, I remember our tiny apartment. It was so simpler then."
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
this right here can speak to people who always want more, more, more. But sometimes when you get that more, Biggie said it does come with more money, more problems. And
Yeah.
so Philip says, yeah, it was, a little better then, but yeah. He said he has a plan though. Do you trust me? And the way
Mhm.
he did this was so manly, leader, head of household. He said, "Do you trust me?" And she was like, "Yeah, what's up with the plan?" And I love that. Like it was one
Mhm.
of the things where I'm being submissive to my husband in this moment in a way of
Mhm.
he's telling me he got a plan. All right, what's up? What's the plan? Lean in,
Yeah.
and it seems like they were about to work together.
Mhm.
And then Will starts, we see Will practicing basketball outside. And I feel like I missed the whole college talk. So we could finish it out with that, but I don't know where it. But what did you get from that
The
moment?
only thing I just I don't know that they had two conversations about that, and
Mm-hmm.
Philip told him when he gave him the condoms, hey, I know your mom doesn't want us to, or they had a conversation about college, him and Philip. I know your mom doesn't want us to pay for your college education. And then him and Lou
Mm-hmm.
had the second conversation when him and Lou had when Will and Lou had the heart to heart, and he was like, I talked to your mom, and I
Mm-hmm.
stand by her 1,000% about the banks not paying for your college education. And so
Mm.
Will was like, but it's going to be hard. And I just, for the life of me,
Yeah.
I just don't understand if there's resources and access in the family and there is no problem with it. And he's not going to a Princeton. He's been applying to other schools.
Right, right.
I just don't understand why, she was like, you have to use financial aid. But with financial aid, it's not enough aid to cover. I mean, if we're talking about reality, aid is not enough to cover,
Right.
undergrad. So you're gonna
Right.
have to pull out student loans unless y'all gonna make him work. But
Yeah.
he did tell Lou that how Philip taught him money managing from the Black Cess.
Mm-hmm.
He's investing
Mm-hmm.
his money as well.
Right, right, right.
So I just don't like when, just to point out, I don't want us to yank resources from
Mm-hmm.
our kids when the resource is there. That's all I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah, especially when we have it. Like, why
Yeah.
would you want him to then if and I could get it from a mother's perspective.
Yeah.
Maybe Lou and his mom feel like y'all already have done so much. We don't want y'all to be responsible for his college. But if he is not making a big deal out of it, why would you want this young man to have to work, go into debt, possibly
Hmm.
have student loan and all that other stuff, and put him starting his adult life having to make
Yeah.
a payment arrangement for student loans. Like and speaking from a parent at this point, with my daughter being in college,
Mm-hmm.
fast forward, we was fortunate enough that her first 2 years of college, FAFSA kind of took care of it.
Yes.
She's in her third year, and it took care of a portion of it, but we had to pay a portion of it. And so next year, her last year, I already know that she might go into the student loan,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not mad about it because when she gets out, she's only going to have a year of student loan debt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make me feel bad. And she works while she's in school. But if I had it like the way they had it, ain't
Mm-hmm.
no way I would be like, oh no. Or if my sister and her husband was saying they would pay for her school, I'm not going to be like, oh nah, we don't want that's charity. But nah, bump that. Thank you and God bless. Because
Right.
I'm not going to turn that down. I don't want her to be like I am paying off student loan debt and she's starting her adult journey. So I
Yeah.
with that either. I'm like, why are y'all wanting to make life hard for your son? If he is fortunate enough to have these wealthy aunt and uncle, let them. If they saying they want to, let them do it. But I could see both sides. So
I can too. I do.
um,
One more thing I do want to say when it came to
mhm,
Jeffrey, I loved how he had that level of humility to the banks. He was like,
mhm,
listen, I'm not worthy to sit at y'all's table, which is why
mhm,
he explained he didn't show up.
mhm,
But Phil reassures him that you always have a seat at this table and we're better
yeah.
together. And it goes back to y'all not gonna make me cry. Okay.
I
We're not going okay.
I know.
Most people would be like, well, I ain't do nothing wrong, like trying to justify what's happening.
Mhm,
And Jeffrey, I feel like Jeffrey he can always be trusted.
mhm. Me too. Even with him being in this gang, I feel like Jeffrey gives me the type of person that he would jump in front of the bullet to save
Hmm.
any member of that family. And
Yeah.
I think that's what Phil knows. And I think that's why he's
Hmm.
been able to just overlook everything he got going
Hmm.
on. But I really want for him to be out of the gang, though. Like, I want
Yeah.
this season to see Jeffrey, like, get out of it where he can be completely free from it and he don't have to
Mhm.
worry about it no more or nothing. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
taking, the Noma character out or whatever it has to be, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Jeffrey on Power? What I
No.
feel like character on Power.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Just Noma. I mean, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Dominique is what she is on here.
On him, yeah.
Just the one who played Noma.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that there is a plan. I know that he was the one who unalived Dominique's father when he was getting ready to hand Jeffrey the business. And
Okay.
so her dad took Jeffrey in, so they're like brother and sister.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's how he was in the game because they took him in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, but then I think one more thing I wanted to say about also Jeffrey was the reason that the boys got community service.
Yeah, because even Philip said that judge normally hands down harsher sentences.
To
And
the
he was talking to Jeffrey about that. He said he normally hands down
Mhm,
harsh sentences. And the fact that they just got community service, Jeffrey never said, but he said it. That he
mhm,
did. So
mhm.
that's why I feel like, Jeffrey all right with me. Look,
Yeah,
everybody need a Jeffrey.
everybody,
But
everybody.
baby,
My
but this
God.
was great. This was so great. We've been on for an hour and 47 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was great. We did cover episodes 1 through 3.
Mhm.
And this is our first time doing the review for Bel-Air together. And so we hope that you all would join us on Sundays for this review, for this recap. If you all love it and like it, go ahead and smash the like button. Go ahead and subscribe to each one of our channels there. Redefine Me 7, Kiwan J TV, or Kiwan _J _TV, and subscribe to our channels. And we thank y'all for being here with us. Any final words?
The only thing, just look out tonight for Married to Medicine and Real Housewives of Potomac reviews.
Okay. Okay. All right, y'all.
This
We
was
love
good.
y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank you, Kevon, for being here. I appreciate it. And we are going to talk to y'all later. Bye.